Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 20th of March. First things first, let's have a quick look at the news. And this morning, just looking at UK inflation coming in less than expected in some points of it anyway. I just hope my pensions work on RPI, not CPI then. Anyway, when they eventually come out. But for now, CPI less than expected. It's 0.6 down on the previous, so it's coming in the right direction for both the core figure there year on year and the actual headline figure. So both down 0.6 and 0.1 lower than the forecast. So bit mixed data elsewhere, but the PPI output figures, so the prices leaving the producers basically slightly higher, so we'll see how that gets passed on to the end consumer. But reading through the notes here, it looks like food, etc., particularly restaurants, have gone. This is where the reductions have happened. Anyway, we'll see what happens. We've got this Bank of England tomorrow, and they'll give their impression. They have been largely hawkish up until now. For the rest of today, we've got quite a few ECB speakers running through the morning. Consumer confidence coming there at 3 o'clock this afternoon, but the biggie is the 6 o'clock FOMC statement. That'll be the biggie, and well, could move all the currency pairs, even the cross pairs there. Be wary. So that is today in a nutshell. Let's have a look at the technicals and what's actually going on here, starting off with the euro dollar. And well, it got a bounce in the end yesterday. It did sell off the afternoon. Well, I say the afternoon, it's later morning it started turning around here, and started picking through, and it's barely gone anywhere. Now, where to today? Well, it's above its daily pivot at the moment. These pivots are still pretty pinched. In fact, I'm surprised they're quite as pinched as they are today. They look more pinched today than they did yesterday. Anyway, I don't know that would make sense, but no, it doesn't make sense. We had quite more volatility. Anyway, a break of the daily pivot could see a continuation of that downside. It largely is pushing towards the downside, lower highs, lower lows on the 4 hourly quite clearly. Structurally, it's changed at this stage. Well, things could all change at 6 o'clock tonight, so just bear that in mind, that we could see it go completely opposite way around. The pound, I was looking at this. This is actually we was looking at potential support levels there yesterday, and sure enough, it did come to some potential support levels. It actually found its support off its 200, its 4 hourly 200 and 4 hourly 500. They're just giving plenty of support. There was a fib number around that level as well. I think it's the 786 from this last low here, so it had some support around there. Where it runs off to today, now it's in a bit of confusion here. This doji bar that's sort of sitting here, where's it going to go? Personally, yeah, I mean, it's still coming down here. The bigger picture, well, it's got some scope, but again, everything I'm talking about here could be completely muddled by the 7 o'clock tonight. So dollar yen, well, the yen continued selling. Well, it did sell. This is the US dollar yen, remember. So the yen continued selling. The dollar continued pushing up strongly there. Took out the previous highs here. Not so far away from the near term high. I say near term. It's not even a near term. It's quite some years to go back beyond these highs that I've got marked up here with a green line. So we're getting back up towards that resistance line. It's certainly not convincing what the Bank of Japan have done so far, and their puzzled, confused statements really not being taken too well into the markets, and the yen just continuing to soften at this stage. Now that could be, I'm saying that now the yen could be a big gainer today if the Fed was to change things quite considerably, because it has stretched so far the other way. It might just sort of pull back a bit further. Anyway, and the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar is still looking weak to me in the bigger picture here. It didn't really get much of a pullback yesterday. It's just sitting there, got to its 4-hourly 200 here. It hadn't hit the weekly pivot, so the S2 could still be on at some stage. So it looks half decent. There's 75% chance of that actually going through there, and it is looking pretty soft from the hourly picture here with the daily pivots on as well. So maybe a break later of that this low around about 65.25. That looks possible. That looks like a potential. Oh, yeah, I mean, the only thing, that's my green line, that's my pivotal line there. Needs to be below that ideally. Well, it will be. It's got the monthly pivot it's sitting on around these levels as well. As I say, that green line is a point of previous lows and highs and everything, and it seems to it goes months and months back into September. Beyond, it's been price kicking around that level. In fact, if you go beyond that, it even it's quite a pivotal level. So watching that. The other thing to watch for here in terms of possible long side is this, or support side. In fact, it looks like it's caught that pretty much. So we'll see what it does here this morning, but it's probably got the best potential. US dollar CAD, well, this is looking softer. Again, this may have a bit potential sitting in there, but it's a bit more ugly in terms of this price action. This chimney, often it rolls after something like this, but it's going back up at the moment. How reliable it is another matter. It's really got its consolidation away from the highs there, so we'll see. It could come back to the lower side, but the more likely situation, I think, is consolidation. Leading into the news later, New Zealand dollar has broken its lows there just fractionally. It's sitting around that sort of level at the moment. It's again lower highs, lower lows, looks solidly weak at this sort of stage now. The consolidation is near the lows. A breakdown here again today. Could see it running. It hasn't quite caught the daily pivot, so maybe if it pushes through the S1, the S2 could be online. US dollar Swissy, well, the dollar gaining against the Swissy here. The Swissy being sold again, looking soft at the moment. Higher lows coming through here. It's above its pivot. It's flattening out. Euro yen, well, no real surprises here, but the yen being so soft, we're seeing a continuation of this sort of move to the upside here. It's certainly not something I would be looking to sell. I know that sellers tend to want to come in every time the euro yen gets anywhere near these previous highs, 163 area. It is not a good sell point. They get wiped out. Okay, eventually it rolled over last time, but in fact they'll often come in earlier. If I went and had a look now, I should imagine this will be with the retail traders largely on the sell side. But God knows why it goes quite as bad as it does, but it does. And well, it's cleared out the previous highs, taken away any stops that would have been placed more recently over the top of those, and looking quite solid there. Not a lot to be done on it at the moment. It's not touched a daily pivot. It's through its R1. There is the potential, if it turns and continues, it could run up to that R2. It's got reasonable probability now with the momentum that's been sitting there. Okay, I shall look at the other majors later. Let's just have a look at the other markets. Gold. Still consolidating, still in an okay picture for a move to the upside. Really, for me, it needs to break above the 50 and the weekly pivot there to be on the long side. At the moment, it's just struggling. Again, this could take quite a hit either way come FOMC later. And this consolidation, it's okay. It's shaping towards a high, so it's looking okay for the upside. However, we'll see. Oil pushed up again yesterday, starting to get into trends here. Higher lows coming through here. Production cuts, etc., is helping, and the attacks on the Russian supplies, etc., is helping push this further to the upside there, and all distillates, if I can really say it, as well, pushing up. So fuel prices, energy prices increasing at this stage, but this, well, looks a bit uglier here on the hourly at the moment, the way it's pulled back and it's away from the highs. A flag that's coming through there is okay. When it's come down and then just flat lines, that's not okay. S&Ps, so yesterday we got back up towards those highs there. Did say don't short the S&Ps. Well, it's not a good short. It does look like it's a good short some of the time, and off it goes again. It's got the upside risk is just too high, and pushing up there, still hanging around that area. One thing I would say was apparently the volume there yesterday was lower than the average volume over the previous month, so it's going on lower volume. People, well, it's probably understandable. Traders ain't really wanting to do too much until this Fed data's out the way. Nasdaq, well, picked up a little bit yesterday, so using the monthly pivot as support at the moment, and well, again later this could be pushing up okay. Does look still hanging in there on the weaker side, despite Nvidia's best attempts to get the market absolutely flying yesterday. Nvidia certainly looks good, but well, this doesn't look quite so good. It did catch up in the afternoon there, but into the evening, beg your pardon. Yeah, leave that alone at the moment. A DAX, for those DAX traders, solid day up in the end yesterday, still sitting around the highs here. It's still got scope to push on further. FTSE, woohoo, had a real old spike on the hourlies here. There we go. Getting excited on the inflation data this morning, but then giving it all back again very, very quickly. It's not as soft as it really looks, really. It's a bit of a mixed bag, I think. Anyway, right, I shall leave you there. I'm going to call it a day on the YouTube. I'll speak to you in the room in a short while. Bye for now.